gamers helping out Twitch chat. And the third person to win Miss Universe is Bro Life. Oh my god, what? Bro Lifer, sorry. TV. Chad. This guy plays English, you know it already. Is bro in the chat? I am. Why you bully me? I'm just, listen, are you an English player? I'm just saying you got a Chad picture. Don't have one, alright? You gotta message Cascade and sort out your replay. Bro Lifer TV. We got Silver, only 5 games played. Maybe his first season, because he doesn't have any other games played. I'm assuming it's his first season, because his Twitch name is Bro Lifer TV, and his in-game name is Bro Lifer. Let's see which game he asked for. On Altai. Alright. And if we look at his thing over here, he plays a lot of 2v2s. So he wants me to check out the 2v2. So we're gonna jump into that right fucking now. Silver 2 in 2v2 with 12 wins, 22 losses. And yeah, I think this is his first season of playing. Alright, let's get into it. By the way, I wasn't trying to make fun of you earlier. I'm just streaming, you know. Okay, listen. Listen. I said you must be an English player, and you're playing a lot of English, so I'm just saying you're Chad, so you must be an English player. Oops. It's alright, it happens. Alright, so what's going on? You need 7 on food. So the first thing I'm going to suggest you, since you're a silver, you need to watch, I have 3 or 4 guides on my YouTube channel for English. So the first thing you should do is watch those guides, because already the build order is wrong, and so that's something that's going to probably help you the most, okay? Another small thing that you should try to get used to is putting your sheep as close to TC as possible, so the workers don't have to, when they gather, they don't have to run like this. That's a small thing, but it's also a very easy thing to fix, and it's going to help you a lot in the long run. So you want 7 on food as English and 3 on gold, and then the rest you're going to rally onto the wood. So, let's see. It's so weird that I can't go caster mode because I keep looking on top, but you know there's no info because it's a 2v2 and I have to look at the bottom, so it's really weird. All right, you got enough gold to age up. Now, if you're playing English, if you want to just go for an attack, you obviously, you know, you can stop mining gold. If you want to age up and you get a second TC, aging up with 3 or 4 is fine. I would suggest, if you are, I mean, I don't know what kind of strategies you play with your friend. Like, I don't know if you guys just go for an attack. If you are playing to stay in feudal age for a long time, I would suggest that you get wheelbarrow and double broadaxe at least once you age up, because it will help you a lot producing a shit ton of longbows. Another thing that you should get is kind of like a plan what you want to do in the game, right? So when you start playing, when you enter the game, oh my god, your ally has 8 on gold. Shit. So when you start playing, you should know, like, am I gonna go for 2 town centers? Am I gonna all in? Am I gonna rush castle? Whatever, and just work towards that. If you don't have a plan, you're gonna play a lot worse, and you're gonna waste a lot more. You're gonna waste a lot of like time being like, oh, I should put this many workers here, or I should rotate, or whatever. But yeah. So my suggestion, what you could do here, for example, one thing you could do is, since you said you try to attack early. So you only need 4 villagers to produce your 4 villagers and food to produce villagers. That's how many you need. So what you could do is age up with 3 workers, which will give you slightly slower age up time, but you will have more economy like at 6 minutes. So what I would do is I would leave 3 on gold and age up with like 2 from food and 1 from gold, for example. Or actually, no, just leave 3 on gold. I'm sorry, I got confused because you had 4. So you're going to leave 4 on gold and just take 3 from food and age up with those. And then rally onto the wood. So what you want to get is at least 250 gold initially for, what's it called? For wheelbarrow and double broadaxe. Because this, the earlier you get it, the more army you will have later on. So basically you're delaying your army at 5 minutes a little bit, but at 7 you're gonna have 2 more longbows, for example, right? And the longer you fight, the better it is for you compared to your opponents, because you're getting more and more value out of those economic upgrades. That's how any economic upgrade works. The earlier you get the upgrades, eco upgrades, it's gonna take a bit to pay off, but once it pays off, you just get more and more value. Try to be careful with your scout because you're about to run out of sheep. So try to be careful with your scout so that you don't run out of food. You don't want to be like going on berries. Like this map has deer, which is okay, but you don't want to run out of berries. So this is what's going to happen now. You're going to be producing longbows for a little bit, and then you will notice you're not really going to have resources to produce spearmen, longbows, and get blacksmith upgrades because you just don't have the income. And I don't even need to like watch anymore, right, to know that, because that's just how economy works. So if you want to get blacksmith upgrades, you're going to have to quit making longbows for a while in order to get them. So you're going to have less units. And the way that I'm trying to, or the way that I'm telling you, you'll be delaying your army a bit now. So instead of having 2 longbows, your upgrades will be going up now. And now you will be producing longbows, like from this point on. So they're a bit delayed, but you will have more after. Okay, doing some harassment. What are you playing against? You're playing against French English. Yeah, you're gonna need spearmen for that. You're gonna need spearmen for that, for sure. This should be in the middle. Don't make it on the side like this. Make it in the middle. Let's see what you do with the gold. Blacksmith. So see what I mean? This is exactly what I meant earlier. Look, you're making a blacksmith. You do have extra resources, don't get me wrong. But with 7 and 11, you cannot produce spearmen longbow villagers consistently. So, like I said, the one thing that's going to help you the most is getting a proper build order. A lot of lower ranked players completely overlook economic upgrades, and they're just like, if I get this, my units do more damage, forehead. But, you know, there's more to life than damage. Your ally, if he plays HRE, and if you both want to go aggressive, your ally should go spearman horseman, and you should go spearman longbows. More heavily on the longbows. But you should have few spearmen in case you get caught alone by French or by any civ that makes horsemen. And your ally should make some spearmen, but mostly focus on horsemen. And he wants to preferably raid with horsemen, like try to kill their villagers on deer or food or gold or whatever. It's very important in team games to be active on the map with cavalry. So, yeah. That's not going to be a good one. And you always want to move your army together, like together with your ally, but also your whole army together. Because if French knights arrived there, you would have also lost everything. So this guy, so your opponent has wheelbarrow, and if you look how many more units he has. Maybe it's not because of just wheelbarrow, right? But he has wheelbarrow, and maybe he even got a double broadaxe. I don't know if he did or not, because he has mined a shit ton of gold. And he just translates into more units. And in general, with English, you don't want to go for berries. So on this map, it's okay to go for deer. But on other maps, once you start running out of sheep, you want to slowly start adding farms. So don't add like 10 farms at once. If you have a lot of wood, sure. But in general, you want to add like a farm here and there. Okay, you got wheelbarrow, no double broadaxe, no horticulture. You're getting the iron undermash, which is good. And also, I think while you guys, until you guys learn how to play a bit better, your ally should probably go for men-at-arms horsemen. Because spearmen are a lot harder to use well. And I think if you go men-at-arms and you go like longbows and some spearmen, you guys are going to have a lot more success. Strelbora. Look at this guy chilling. And by the way, never, if you're playing 2v2, English is one of the last civs you want to attack. You always want to, like, French is the main target in team games. Because the easiest thing to attack if you're playing against a French player is just attack their gold. Yeah, you want to avoid berries. They have a way lower gathering rate than mills or than farms. Okay, let's speed it up. Okay, tower is good because you get network of castles buff. And this is where scouting is really nice. If you guys had a scout that was... Okay, he goes men-at-arms, which is good. By the way, he can actually go men-at-arms spearman. I don't think he needs to do horsemen. I forgot that you guys are silver. Horsemen are a lot harder to use. So if he goes men-at-arms spearman, that's also good and would work. Now, this is the point where you guys could have done this to the French player if you also attacked him. But you kind of just both chilled in your base. And you didn't have scouts, so they just completely caught you off guard. And at this point, the game should be over. Although your ally has a shit ton of units and you have a shit ton of men-at-arms, but... Yeah. You were producing villagers pretty consistently until recently, and then you kind of bailed. But also, remember, like, if you have a lot of resources, this is true for any RTS. If you have a lot of resources, like, don't be afraid to just queue up units, because what are you saving the gold and wood and food for? Like right now, if you're doing this many rams, that means you should push. So just queue up like 15 longbows, queue up some whatever upgrades, some more men-at-arms, and just go for it. His priest is not in chapel? No, he has. Your ally went burger. He should have done cathedral. He doesn't need more production with burger because he already has 4 barracks. So he should have gone cathedral and gotten some relics. Even if he gets them really slow and not efficient, it would still be better than this because this is not getting used at all. And when you do attack your opponent, and if you make rams, you want to build rams in front of their base. Because if you attack, let's say from here now, it's going to take a very long time for the rams to arrive. So if you're attacking someone, just build rams here. But yeah, I think the main thing is just being super passive. I think maybe like the poking that you did here, right? Like attacking here with longbows. If you did that on the French player together with few spearmen from your ally, you would have done way better already. So yeah. Like, even playing against AIs, I think would help both of you guys get more familiar, because the AIs actually attack faster than your opponents did. So it's gonna get you a little bit on your feet regarding making units a bit earlier, you know, not dying to small packs of units or losing units and so on. That is a lot of rams, actually. Yeah, that is that is a lot of rams, brother. You forgot your eco upgrade. So again, whenever you have gold, you should always think of upgrades. If you have too much gold, just get upgrades. It's the easiest thing to do. It's the easiest thing to spend your gold on. Right now, the army supply is 61 and 75. They have 115 and 98. So they just have way more army. And again, they're gonna go for it. See how they're like attacking together? I mean, now your armies are together, right? Kind of. Your ally is Imperial. He doesn't have any, he doesn't have ranged armor, by the way. So whenever you play against a Civ that has archers, he needs to get Iron Underbash. It's very, very important. For melee units, if the enemy has ranged units, the most important upgrade is Iron Underbash. They just have way more units at this point. GG. You right click instead of A move? Oh yeah, another thing, I didn't even see that. So when you attack opponent's units, don't right click on them. Click A on your keyboard and then left click on an empty spot on the map. Like next to these units, that's gonna make your units attack everything in front of them instead of attacking one unit. If you click on the unit, every unit of yours is gonna try to attack that one thing. And that's not how you want to be engaging. The last gamer that we got is Scout. It is on Altai. It's also a 4v4 game. Okay, same map. So he is Plat 1 in Team Ranked. And he was Gold 2. And then in Season 1 he was Gold 2 as well. So yeah, he's mainly playing team games. Let's see the match history. His name is Scout, by the way. Scout, then he's playing Rus. Okay. Okay, I respect that.
Fucking Scouts.
I respect that. So you're just playing with random allies, right? I'm trying to find if there's any same name, but I think you're just playing with randoms. Yeah. Alright. So let's get into it. This game, you played Rus Abbasid versus French English. Good old French English, brother. Do 1-on-1? No, it's fine. I don't mind doing 2v2s. I think for casual players, 2v2s are equal, if not more important than 1-on-1s. A lot of people enjoy team games. And I don't actually analyze enough team games, so... Let's do it. Ligma, or Limga Mail. Okay, I thought it's Ligma Mail. Alright, Scout is right here. Okay. This is an old build. You don't do this anymore. Okay, you gotta get rid of this. You don't do this build anymore. So the reason for that is you don't go for lumber camp. So what you want to do is you can build hunting cabin with 2 villagers, and then build a house with like 2 as well, or 1, doesn't matter. You build an extra scout for it, so for a total of 3 scouts, and then you get a wheelbarrow after. So the wheelbarrow costs 50 wood, so instead of making this lumber camp, you're just gonna get a wheelbarrow for that wood. So you only make these 2, and then you put everything on food, okay? So you don't need a lumber camp. That's like the old build that people don't do anymore. I would suggest that no matter if you're playing 1-on-1 or 2v2, you always send your first scout forward and try to kill opponent's deer immediately, okay? Like maybe even first 2 scouts. Like if this was 1-on-1 and you spawned here, I would send 1 scout like this way and 1 scout that way, okay? Because you don't want to run straight at your opponent TC. But if this is team game, like I think on Altai, sending the first one straight in and then sending the second one around here is fine. And then you can send a third one like towards the board, top side. Because you want to be as efficient as possible. How many scouts do you have? You have only 2 scouts. You should make another one. Even if you don't micro it too much and you just move it around, it's still gonna be good. What's the rank? His ally is gold in team games and he is platinum. Oh, you ran out of sheep. That's a monka. You gotta be careful about that. Pro Lifer, thank you.
Thanks for the advice.
No problem, anytime. Thank you, appreciate it. Glad you enjoyed it, and I hope it helped. Okay, Gremlin. You don't really have any good spots for a Gremlin, to be honest. Like, realistically, if this was reversed, like if these things were forward, that would be insane Gremlin. But also you don't want a Gremlin here on Altai, because you can just wall here and that's it, right?
2 very educational months.
So, maybe I would even put Gremlin a bit farther away, right? Maybe I would put Gremlin like here, so that it covers more between you and your ally, right? So, maybe not like here, but just a tiny bit more, so that as long as it's in range of the lumber camp. But yeah, this is again, not a great position because of the resources, not because it's not a great position. So yeah. Alright, you're playing with Acid. What is your general game plan, Scout? Like, what do you go for? Do you have a general plan, or do you always kind of just wing it? Because you are pretty much playing Rus only, right? Which is fine. Let me know in the chat. You usually go to TC. Okay. If you go to TC, you should try to open that immediately. But, like, 2TC is like eco upgrades that I was talking about earlier. If you want to go to TC, or if you want to get eco upgrades, get them immediately. Don't wait. So right now, this could have been a free TC, by the way, because you got Kremlin on the stone as well. So you could have gotten second TC, like wherever, here or maybe even here with Gremlins. And then you just go into Mass Knights. I think if you played Rus, you should 100% go into pure Knight. Or at least open with double or even triple stables. And then later on, if your ally isn't adding archers, then you add archers. But from Abbasid point of view, the best thing he can do is open up Spearman like he is, and then go into Archer. So he should do Spearman Archer, you should do pure Knight. Do you need to go Fast Castle? You don't need to do anything. You don't need to do 2TC, you don't need to go Fast Castle, and you don't need to make Knights, but it just depends what you prefer. Yeah, you want to make Knights, not Horsemen, especially against French. The Knight civs are very strong in team games because of Knights. Like, technically you can go Fast Castle, but I think, especially playing with randoms, it's always better to make units rather than rush tech or go multiple TCs. Like, I also think the fact that your ally is going to TCs, you should probably not. Because then you might be going too greedy, right? Because you see what he's doing. The blue guy is playing 2v2s correctly. The only thing I don't like from the blue guy is he's adding archers. He's playing with English, so he shouldn't be adding archers at all. The blue guy should just add pure knights. But what he's doing to you is what the knight civ should be doing in the first place. And whenever you can't find damage, like if you couldn't find damage here, he could just go to the opposite and harass him a bit. Like, your role as the knight civ is you want to make sure your opponents are losing villagers and they're being kept in their base. So yeah, if you want to go for 2TC, that's fine. But just go 2TC immediately. If you want to go for knights, just go knights immediately. If you want to rush castle, probably wouldn't suggest that, but... Okay, your ally's covering you. And another thing that I would suggest to anyone that plays team games, like, try to coordinate with your ally. Like, just literally ask them. I've done the same thing when I play on stream with randoms, or sometimes when I play off stream. Like, just ask them, what are you going for? If he's like, I'm going to TC into castle, then know that, okay, I'm not getting any help from this guy. You know what I mean? So you need to prepare yourself for what to do. Or, you know, maybe ask him, hey, can you make some archers, right? I'm going to go knights. Can you go archers? Something like that. Because right now, he did 2 TC. A lot of spearmen, and it seems like he wants to go castle. He is. He's going military wing, which is fine. But then you need to know, okay, I'm not going to go second TC. I'm just going to make units to try and survive. Right now, you both went eco, and you will not have enough knights to hold this. You actually have almost... Oh, no, never mind. He has 8 knights. You have 5. But you could have had like 10, 11, 12 knights. Because he's making rams, so if you went pure knight, he went archer plus ram, so you would have more knights. So you could have gotten better engagement on him, and then obviously English is a whole different problem. But your ally will hit what's it called? Oh, he doesn't have blacksmith. Your ally will be getting, I'm assuming, men-at-arms soon. If your ally had blacksmith and +1 ranged armor, he could actually, like, this could actually work out for you guys. You got a lot of gremlins too that you can get out. Okay, you got 6 out. He reaches castle age. Like, this is pretty good engagement for you guys on this side. Okay, he's making men-at-arms. He has blacksmith, but a bit too late. You get a good engage here. Now, if you had like 5, 6 more knights, you guys can mow down this army pretty easily with the men-at-arms. But because he doesn't have the ranged attack, look how easily the men-at-arms die. And he's going knights too. So now there's an overlap, which is why I always say it's important to communicate with your ally, because he's making knights now. And you're doubling down on the same units, which is not good. If he had 6 barracks, so if you, instead of having 3 barracks and 2 stables, if he had like 5, 6 barracks and pure men-at-arms, this fight would have gone better for you. Yeah, basically English, like, you guys beat the French, but then you just had no units against English. And also Iron Undermesh for you too. You didn't get +1 ranged armor, even though you're playing against English and French who had archers. So that's something to look into. Still no +1 ranged armor. Yeah, the longbows are gonna, like, shredding both of you. Look at this, so much damage they're taking. So I think the biggest takeaway, Scout, for you in this game is you need a more solid build order and also more solid plan of what you want to do. What French did in this game was not the best thing, because he made archers, like I said, even though his ally is English. But he was decisive about it. You know what I mean? You could see that this guy does this every game, right? He goes knight, then he has an archer range, and he has more knights, then he harasses, and then he makes rams. It's very like A to B. It's not correct, but it's better to do A to B incorrectly than to do A to C to D to B to B to A to C. If that makes sense. And that's kind of what you need. You need an A to B. So when you ask me, like, should I castle rush? Do whatever you want, but get a plan and practice it after each game. Because repetitiveness in RTS is very good thing. Like, repeating same build orders, the same action, will actually make the builds themselves better, even though if they're not good, because you're going to be executing them better. 2L, true. Yeah, French build is A to B to W. Yours is A, C, D, E, B, D, A, L. But luckily, this is very easy to fix in my opinion. Like, again, find a build order, figure out what you want to do. Try to, whenever you play team games, guys, try to analyze what your opponent or ally civ is, what your opponent's civ is, and what your role there is, like what you should be doing. Even though you're doing the same build every game, you can still change the way you're using your units, right? Like if you're playing with Rus, if you're playing against Mongols, you gotta be like, okay, my ally might get tower rushed, I should help him, so you should be ready for that. If you're playing against English, you should be aware that maybe there's early longbows. If you're playing against, Mongols or Abbasid or Malian, you can be like, okay, they can trade, so if they're trading, I should harass their trade. If they're French, I should mass pure knights and try to match his knight numbers or overwhelm. So you can do the same thing. You just gotta learn how to play against different civs and how to play with your ally civ. Now, the higher rated you go, what your ally does will make more and more sense. Sometimes if you're lower league, it's not gonna make a lot of sense, which is why just making a lot of units will usually be the best thing you can do, because you can't really go wrong with making knights. Right? You can always attack, you can do harassment, you can defend. If you go 2 TC and your ally is also going 4 TC, then you're both just dead. So, it's very useful. Thank you. No worries. I'm glad it helps. Yeah, no +1 armor. Look how much men-at-arms are dying to feudal longbows. He's getting it now, but it's too late. It's too late. Also, since you're playing a knight civ and you like making knights, getting +1 ranged armor is pretty much the only thing you need if you're only making knights, because melee armor actually doesn't help you at all when you're making knights, because spearmen do way too much damage, so -1 damage taken from spearmen is not a big deal. +1 melee damage also is not a big deal because you deal over 20 damage a hit, so getting +1 damage is not a big thing. But if you reduce the bow damage you take from, or range damage you take from 3 to 2, you're reducing the damage taken massively, percentage-wise. Massively. So it's way, way more important to get ranged armor, especially if you already have existing armor, like on men-at-arms or on knights. So, yeah. But if you're, for example, making men-at-arms, then getting +1 attack is a lot more valuable because men-at-arm attack speed is higher and men-at-arm damage is lower. So percentage-wise, you're increasing their damage a lot more. There it is. I want to thank all 3 of you for submitting their games. The people that did not win the giveaway, don't worry. I'm sure you're going to win next time for sure. Don't worry about it. It's going to happen. I hope you guys enjoyed this little thing. I'll probably be uploading this on YouTube, so the YouTube gamers can also learn something. If you did enjoy this, I might do more of these in the future. If you're watching on YouTube, thanks so much for watching. I appreciate it. Check me out on Twitch. I'm probably live right now. If you're watching on Twitch, let's keep going.